Hey, it's Mr. Native Survival. I was just driving down the road and found some wild onions. Caught my eye. Stay tuned. Alright, so there's a few ways that you can very quickly identify wild onions when you're moving by. I mean, you know, even when I'm in the car, you know, if I'm able to identify onions when I'm driving by, you know, at like 40 miles an hour, then obviously I can see it extremely easily when I'm just walking through the woods. So this is how I identify it so quickly. You'll notice that on other common like growth, like grasses and things, that the color is much lighter green than it is on onions. So onions are darker green. Another thing that makes it easy is that grasses like to grow flat in their cross section. You see in all of these, I just took a couple different clumps. They like to grow flat. Even the ones that seem like they're not, they still are. Okay? Now if you look at wild onion, it grows round in cross section. It's like a tube. Alright, that's the second way. Third way is the top. Now it likes to, when it gets a little older, it likes to curl at the top and kind of do like a little squiggle. I'll have to see if there's anything here that really does that very well. This one's starting to, you know? It just kind of has like, here's another good one right here. It's very interesting growth at the top, where it just kind of like bends over and kind of does like a squiggle thing going on. So it's kind of S-shaped, kind of squiggles towards the top. It grows kind of strangely at the top, as you can see. Whereas other growth like grass, they tend to be stiff at the top. They don't bend and get all squiggly in S turns like this. Okay? The second way, or third way. Now another way is that when these wild onions grow, they grow in a tight, dense cluster like this. So when they're growing, they're very, very tight, and they're, you know, kind of swaying in the wind. It's like one piece, basically. And they have a good amount of rigidity because of their cross section, so they don't sway easily. So they kind of grow pretty upright overall, except for the bent tops, the strange tops. They grow pretty upright, pretty dense, you know, all pretty much right on top of each other. Darker green in a circle cross section, and these like really dense clusters. You know, they don't grow a bunch of different blades making up a carpet like grass does. They're kind of like these like little spikes, whereas grass, obviously, when it grows, even when it is in clumps, it's pretty separated, and when it blows, it kind of just like blows everywhere. So those are the main ways that I use to notice wild onions from a distance. I mean, even when driving. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. We have grass right here. Kind of these big blades, loosely bunched. Now when you look up here, there's the wild onions. I mean, just completely different growth pattern, darker green, standing up straight. That's the difference between the two. Grass down here, wild onions right up there. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. It smells deliciously like onion. Right? So let's go harvest some. Alright, so this plant is a little bit off the roads a ways, not right alongside the road. So we're going to harvest from this one. And I'm going to just make a quick digging stick to make that easier. Pretty simple. smells good too. Alright, so start exposing this plant. See what we got. Okay, now use my digging stick and I'm going to dig all around and see if I can expose those root balls. Nature actually provided this digging stick. It's even better than the one that I just broke off. Just found it laying here. Has a nice wedge shape to it. Excellent. So I like to start further back and work my way towards the plant because I don't want to damage it. I like to use a technique where basically you dig and then you take out the debris that you loosened up at the same time. Excavate very quickly that way. Okay, got some roots and stuff down there. Gonna go around the plant, keep doing the same thing. I'm gonna gently pull the dirt away from the plant into the reservoir it created. Now, obviously, I'm not going to take all of this plant. I'm going to take a couple and I'll leave the rest. And if I wanted to get more, I would just take more from a different plant, a different cluster of them. Okay, so now I'm starting to separate this bunch from the rest of the cluster by digging behind these. Still some roots down here to get rid of. Now I'm starting to get towards the bulbs at the bottom. I can see the sheath right there. So I'm going to be real gentle. Okay, so here's the first one. And grab another. Here's another one. Here's the sheath I was talking about. That's on the root. Nice bulb at the bottom. These are pretty close to coming up as well. Just dig around. There's another one. And another one. Okay, so I'm going to continue like this, grab a few more, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so as you can see, there's a lot of food here. And there's still a lot in this one clump. Alright, so now, what I want to do is make sure that I take care of this clump that just took care of me. Pretty simple. All that dirt that I took out, I'm going to put back. Just want to lightly tamp around it so it's strong again. All right. Now I'm going to hold it up. Put everything back where it was that was around it. There's a root in there. Get that out of there. Okay. So I'm going to just hold this up. Take all this debris and everything and put it back because the plant obviously liked it or it wouldn't have been here, right? So I'm going to put everything exactly how it was. So the plant's happy again. It wants to be here. It likes being here. I disturbed it. Now I'm going to put it back how it was. Okay, so now this plant is still going to be growing here. I didn't just take all of it. And because it's still growing here, if I'm hungry tomorrow or next week or next month, I can come back, take a few more. By then we'll have made a few more and I'm good to go. You know, if I'm hungry tomorrow, I'm not going to take from the same plant if I have more to take from. I'll just go to one of the other plants in the area, and you guys saw there's tons of them, and I would just take from that one in the same way. I took about 30% from this one, And I would just keep doing that. And by the time I got back to the first one, it would have already grown a whole bunch more. Okay, and that's really a key concept to understand on living properly with plants, on living in a long-term basis with plants. You know, you don't find a resource and take it all, because it won't be there tomorrow, right? So it's incredibly important to think ahead, because it's very short-sighted and foolish to take all of a resource, because then you won't have any for tomorrow. And by also taking all of a resource, there won't be anything left for the animals that are relying on this resource as well. Because if we decide to eat animals as well, then we're going to want to not take their food away either. So you want to be smart and only take a portion, so then that way there's still a portion left for the plant to continue and a portion left for the animals to eat, so they stay here, so we don't get rid of their resource, so they're not going to leave the area. So we can live here, the animals live here, and the plants continue to live here. Alright, so I got them on my old rucksack table here. One of my favorite uses of my rucksack, when I'm not actually using it, on my back. Pretty simple. Just gonna clear up the dirt. Now, just like agriculture, onions, these grow in layers. So if I want, I can pull off layers like this, and it's obviously very clean underneath. See that? That's another option for cleaning them off. I usually don't do that because it's wasteful, right? That sheath, that each layer is food, right? You know, you keep cleaning, and all of a sudden there's nothing left. Crazy. So I'd rather just wipe the dirt off. Now when I eat these, I usually eat the root stems too. I think it's also incredibly wasteful to cut off portions that are not the perfect cut, if you know what I mean. You know, the perfect piece would be cutting this off, peeling off some layers, and just eating the heart of it. Ooh, that's the most delicate part, right? Well, each part of the plant has its own vitamins and minerals, and it's incredibly wasteful to not eat a portion of a plant and eating a different portion because you like it better. You know, it's crazy. You should be eating all of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just prep one of these to eat here, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so I've got one here. Done my best to clean it off pretty good. If you push down the root ball, you notice that you can clean off inside the root ball as well, all the way to the bottom of the plant. It's called the apical meristem. Very special part of a plant. Anyways, okay, so this one I harvested is much further off the road than the others. You're still gonna have some cars going by because, you know, I'm still pretty close to the road. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 25-30 yards, something like that, the most. So anyways, good to go. Man, I love the way this stuff smells. You know. Okay, so you can eat this tons of different ways, and I'm gonna just chop on it raw. And again, it's an onion. It's gonna be pretty strong. It's good stuff. There's the bulb. Love it. Juicy, tender, incredibly delicious. Has a nice bite to it, you know, because it's an onion. Get that. Yeah, good stuff. A little left here. This is the end of it now. Real food. Love it. You know, it's a lot of food there. And I still have all this from that one bunch. You know, and I only took my equal portion. There's still a bunch there. Alright, delicious. Okay, so let's pull our book out. Alright. Here's our book. I want to turn to page 114. Okay, we have wild onions. Let's see here. This is what the flower looks like. A little cross section right there. Circle. Okay, so wild onion. Basil leaves, small. Odor of onions. All pretty standard stuff, right? All species edible. Cooked vegetable, salad, seasoning, cooked green, obviously raw. The bulbs are excellent, boiled, pickled, added to salads, used as seasonings, and obviously they're good raw too. Okay, so some of the stuff is pretty easy. You know, seasoning would be as say a rub that you use on fish, something like that, kind of like what I did with the wintergreen. I did a wintergreen rub. Well, this would be an onion rub on fish or whatever the case is before you cook it. Obviously, seasoning, just like we have onion powder that you can buy in the store. That's agriculture. Same deal. You know, you dry it out, you hang it up, it dries out. You make like a flour out of it, and once it dries, you smash it up because it's so brittle it just powderizes. There's your seasoning, right? And we've cooked green, salad, you know, pretty standard stuff, you know, either boiling it or you know, roasting it lightly, or frying it on a rock. I mean, you know, tons of ways to cook onions. You know, we all know that. Salad, you know, cooked vegetable, it's all kind of the same. So, it's a great edible because it can be eaten raw and it just tastes awesome. It can season other foods, especially meat. You can eat it in a salad, whatever the case is. You can steam it, you can boil it, you can fry it. You know, phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal plant. Alright, so as you can see, it's easily identifiable, and I'm glad I noticed it when I was driving by today. Appreciate your views, comments, and support. Take care. Have a good day.